Good to see everybody.
Yes.
Glad that you're here. We're just going to give a few seconds just in case we're expecting at least one or two more people. So we'll just give a couple of seconds for that. If you have a notebook, that might be handy, and a pen, just in case there's anything interesting you want to take notes on.
Yeshe, I should let you know that if people turn off their cameras, then they're not going to be seen by us on screen. So we actually have several more people here, but they're not seen.
Oh, I see. They're not on screen. Okay.
Yeah. Looks like Shauna has joined us too. Hi, Shauna.
Hello.
Shauna, and we have Jan and Janet.
Yes.
Love it. And as soon as we get started here in a second, if you all wouldn't mind to have your microphones on mute, that would be super helpful. And yeah, just that much for now. Yeah. Great. Welcome, Leslie. Well, cool. If you are expecting to cultivate your entrepreneurial energy with focus and flow, you are in the right place. So welcome. We're really glad that you're here. Excellent. So there's a few main things that we're going to be sharing with you. By the way, we're going to start. There's a few main things that we're going to be sharing with you today. And one of them is to discover how to identify your innate entrepreneurial energy. And this is a really fun and also extremely telling process that, that really serves knowing who we are and serving from our best self. And you'll be, as you can see on the slide here, you'll be leaning into your strengths and the best return on investment on the time and energy you give your business. And that's really important. And then the other thing that we're going to go over is on the second slide here, or on this next slide, which is identifying your business's current stage of development. I cannot tell you how valuable this is. And in my heart, I wish for you that you'll see the value of that as we talk about it today, because I can tell you with full honesty that had I known this earlier in my journey, it probably could have shaved off anywhere between 7 to 10 years of me striving and not making very much money in my business. So that's going to be something that Sharon and I both enjoy talking about as well. So what to expect in this 90-minute webinar is that we'll guide you on how to become focused and in flow as a thriving business owner who shows up powerfully for the business and earns a secure and sustainable income. And I would love to know if you want some of that. Raise your hand if you do. Yes, me too. Oh, excellent. So we're going to ask that you put your questions into the chat today. We have plenty of material, and in the amount of time that we have, we want to honor your time. So we're going to give you, our best information. And so if you'll put your questions in the chat, either Sharon or I will be looking into the chat to see what's going on, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay. So we want you to also stay tuned until the end, because there's a juicy bonus that you get, and that is to receive laser coaching right on the call. So you'll have your top business questions answered, and it's going to be from the perspective of the things that we're going over with you today. Okay? At least that's how the answers are going to come. So I'll share a little bit about how I got here. And by the way, that's a photo of me being in flow while belly dancing. How I got here is I started my entrepreneurial journey while I was still working part-time, holding other jobs. And I really loved that, at least for a while. But then I gained all kinds of skills and certifications to serve my clients. And as I was accumulating those things, it really felt appropriate to go into full-time. But the problem is that as I was doing all of that, I wasn't investing. I was investing on certifications and things. I wasn't investing on how to understand how to grow my business. And that was, I would say, an area that I could have shifted, and it would have made a lot more sense for me to at least invest some on my business and some on certifications, maybe some on my business first and the certifications later. But at any rate, I did get it switched around, and through using a holistic nurse business development system to grow my business with lots of support, I shifted that around, and now I really love how I'm serving my clients, and they're getting lots of um, lots of juicy, life-changing experiences through our work together. So, and just a little bit about my background is I am a former LPN. I currently guide women, self-aware women, to live from their soul's wisdom more fully so that they can move forward freely and in their power. And I absolutely love doing this work. I don't think that I would be here in this place where I'm serving my ideal woman if I hadn't utilized support in the appropriate way, by getting guidance and having a map and a structure and understanding my own energy and how I operate as an entrepreneur. And I would love for Sharon to share about her journey and her background as well.
Okay, I will. So I became a nurse entrepreneur in 1984. I also started out as an LPN in 74. So I got into business, 10 years seems like a long time when that's where you are, but now I'm getting close to 50 years in nursing. So 10 years was just at the beginning. I had a lot of business ideas, but I had zero business training. And so I was creative and I had a lot of ideas, but I had no idea how to figure out which was the best idea or how to prioritize my steps. And I also didn't really know how to troubleshoot when I'd get into a challenge. Whenever I'd get into a decision point, like a crossroads, do I go this way or do I go that way? I was on my own to figure it out and guess. And so as you can guess, at least 50% of the time, I probably went the wrong way there at the beginning until I gradually learned. Another part of my journey was that starting in business so long ago, I started as a massage therapist, nurse massage therapist, and then I went into being an online entrepreneur in the 90s, mid 90s. I had holistic home study courses, CE courses for nurses, and also for nationally certified massage therapists and body workers. And so online marketing and businesses were new back then. It was very hard to find mentors that knew what a nursing license was, understood the limits of that, and also that were in alignment with nursing values and ethics. Basically, I come up with zero. I hired several mentors and didn't find anybody that was really could help me with any depth. So it took me years of having a low revenue and a lot of stress and anxiety to figure out my path to success. And that's why I have a passion to be here now and help other nurses get into business. I really feel it's an important part of the nursing profession that we need to step out of our boxes of being employees, whether it's in direct care or nursing education or just where it is, and start serving the public more directly. So here's a little picture of me and my dogs on my sailboat after I figured out how to do my business from anywhere. And so I did it from my sailboat. I had a solar panel and all that. It was really a lot of fun. So now I'm directing New Directions for Nurses, and my team and I show nurse coaches, educators, and consultants how to grow thriving businesses. So I'm curious, those of you who are on, you're nurse entrepreneurs or you're thinking about being, I wonder if you've thought about why you might feel less empowered than you want to feel. And invite you to put a word or a phrase about that in the chat. I asked that question because I've noticed I have a lot of friends and have been in a lot of classes with other entrepreneurs from other professions and just from the public. And every entrepreneur is challenged to start a business. But I've noticed that nurse entrepreneurs have some extra challenges that other people don't. So I'd love to hear your ideas about that. And I see some coming
So
in the chat. Can you read those, Yeshe?
I will, yeah. So Janet says service, and Lisa says need of focus and time in capital letters. Leslie says hard time charging despite valuing my worth. Yeah, that's a big one, and we hear that a lot. And then Jan says trying to do too many specialties. Oh my gosh, all of you are speaking into some very common themes. So many people say just a nurse. We so often pour our heart into caring for others. Entrepreneurship requires for us to put time into ourselves before giving back to others. Yes, Rebecca, that's 100% correct. Yeah, these are some
Wonderful.
really beautiful and on the spot answers. And there's one more, sorry. Difficult to find where to direct energies, not sure how to proceed. Oh, we'll definitely help you with that today, Shanna. I think you'll get a really good idea about how to proceed there. Thank you for sharing those answers. Those are really powerful answers. And again, we see those, many of those quite.
Those things are real. They really can hold us back. We've got to somehow find our way through them, each of us in our own way, so that we stay authentic in our business. We can't just take a cookie cutter approach. You know, there is no approach that's one size fits all on those kind of issues. Well, I can share with you, I do love to be evidence-based, whether it's from research that's, quantitative, or even from our own experiences. All of that is important to bring into our practice as nurses, and always work with an evidence base. So I found this wonderful article by Jacobson in the Journal of Advanced Nursing, and she studied nurse entrepreneurs, and she studied this very question of why do we seem to have more difficulty than an average person on the street to start our businesses. And these were the top 4 things that she found. The first one was that we are conditioned to have certain beliefs about what a nurse is, how they should act, and, the roles they should play. And those can trip us up when we go into business, because business hasn't been added to those formulas, those equations. It can also trip up our families, friends, and coworkers. They all have conditioned beliefs about what a nurse is. And those affect us. No matter how independent we are, we still can feel that, the limits of that, and doubt ourselves, okay? Then the next one is difficulty in shifting from established procedures to experimenting and innovating. So, think about the way we're taught as nurses, not only in our education, but then all the way through our continuing ed and in every organization. We are absolutely, everything structured around using established procedures and policies and not varying that. So the problem is when we're entrepreneurs, we don't have those, number one, to guide us very often. And number two, our success depends on that we're experimental and innovative. So that's a big shift to make. And we do best if we recognize it first as a thing, and then that we start consciously making those shifts in small steps with support. The next one is that conventional business models have values and ethics that don't always align with us as nurses. They don't always align with the nursing ethics and values. And so we know that, we feel that, but then where do we get the guidance about how to interpret those conventional models into a holistic nursing model? And the last thing is then that there's just a huge volume of new mindset skills and tools to learn. And this takes significant extra time and effort beyond what an ordinary person would have starting a business. So I encourage you to, first of all, have self-compassion and compassion for each other as you feel the weight of these things and as you feel lost maybe sometimes or unsure. It makes sense that you would. And I encourage you to reach out and get support around all of those things. So here's the truth of life as an entrepreneur, right? Do you recognize any of this? And this isn't just nurses. Yeah, I recognize it. This is everybody. And this can be all in one day for sure, or definitely at least in a month. It's all ups and downs. And so because of that, our mindset and our point of view are so important to our business success. Studies show that up to 70 to 80% of our success comes from how we handle our mindset and our point of view. Okay. And we know we do best in life when we're being our natural self and not, trying to be something that doesn't come naturally. Studies have also shown that when we expect ourselves to do something that's not aligned with our natural energy, we'll fail over the long term. Because when we may do well for a short term, but when the stresses and the challenge comes, let me just back up and say, we can learn a lot of skills. We can learn to be a lot of things. But when stresses come, we tend to revert to our natural energy as our default and our strengths as a default. And our strengths also imply that we have certain other limitations. That's just part of being a human. So I love this quote from one of my mentors, Roger James Hamilton, who says, "Everyone is born a genius, but if a fish judges itself by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing something is wrong with it." And I've experienced this myself big time, thinking that I should be more of something than what I am or less of something else. And it's taken, I've gone through phases with this. I always have thought I was being myself, but the truth is there were different shades of that, variations of that. So because this is so important, I want to share with you a little free test that you can take right now. And this is if you want to either use the QR code or the URL, you can get to that test and you can use your phone or you can open another window on your computer. And while you do that, I'll share a little bit about my experience and what a difference this has made for me. I, like a lot of nurses, we learn to be good at a lot of things. But then if we ask ourselves honestly, which of those things are we really enjoying? It's usually a much smaller subset. And in my business, I was trying to be more outgoing than I really am, connect with more people, which really drains me. I can do it, but then I have to recover for a while. And some other things that weren't really in my wheelhouse. When I took this, I've known that and intuitively, and I think we all do, and we incorporate it into the things we choose and reject. However, once I got my hands on this quiz, it showed me in more contrast, more clarity with more detail, what my real strengths are. And light bulbs went off because I hadn't really been leaning into my strengths. As when we grow up in our school system, we're taught to try to be well-rounded, work on the things that we're bad at, and bring those grades up that are low, that kind of thing. However, as adults, what we find, research on adults shows that we are more successful when we build on our strengths and leave our weaker areas to other people to do. You know, our weak area is somebody else's strength. And so if we're weak at accounting and tax prep, for instance, it's better to hire somebody to do that for us, or trade something with them, or somehow give that to somebody. There's people who love to do that, you know, and are good at it, as compared to us trying to learn that. We will actually have success faster if we develop our own skills. So it turned out my skill was to create systems and to improve systems, and instead of you know, all the other vast things that you could do in a business. That's my wheelhouse. So that, and that's, turns out that's what I love to do too, which is usually the case. So love to hear, let's see. Well, I'll give you a couple examples of nurses' energies that represent these four. So I chose these just out of my own, for my own fun. I don't know these nurses personally, and I don't know that much about them, but I just went by their reputation. So the dynamo genius energy is for people who are very smart with ideas. They have lots of ideas, very creative, and they're visionary. They look ahead and see a big picture. So I chose Martha Rogers to represent that energy. They're really good at starting things. They can start thing after thing with all their ideas, but they're not as good at finishing things. Yeshe, if people are, I'm not looking at the chat, so if people have questions that need to be answered right now, let me know. Then going around to the right, I chose Jane Watson to represent the blaze genius, because this energy, their genius is in people. They love people, and they have a lot of warmth and caring. And so that's their strength. However, their other side is that they get distracted quickly. Okay. And then going below Jean, I chose Ernest Grant to represent the tempo genius. And this genius involves the senses, the physical senses, and also a sense of timing. That's why the word tempo is used for that energy. And this is a very sustaining energy, grounded and practical, great at supporting people. However, they can get lost in that activity. Okay. And the fourth one is the steel genius, that is very smart with details. And that energy takes what it sees is going on and likes to refine whatever it's involved in. It also enjoys things like with lots of details, like spreadsheets and artificial intelligence and things like that. Making computer platforms, things like that, and apps. So I chose Charlene Platten because she is a nurse, entrepreneur, and innovator that is all about quality improvement, and she has led a team that designed an innovative app for nurses. So I'm very interested to hear your questions around this, and also I invite you to look at your Genius quiz results and share in the chat what strength you see that you can relate to, that and that you think you could start honing right away.
So Janet was super quick. She's a steel. Okay. And, oh, I thought I saw another one, but not yet. I'll share that I'm a blaze. We all know, Sharon already knows that, but I'm a blaze.
Yeah. And I'm a dynamo up there in the creative. So I'll share with you while people are getting their quiz results. These are, in this free quiz, there are 4 different energies. The main 4 energies are represented. And there's another test you can take that's a paid test that gives you a lot more detail. And it also includes 4 additional energy archetypes. So that there's 8 in total in the paid test. And the other 4 that are not on the free test are blends between the primary four. So for instance, Yeshe and I are both a blend energy. We have a dominant energy, and then we have other energies that also affect us, and everybody does. We all have all four energies, but just in different proportions. So mine is I primarily, it's dominated by the dynamo, but then I have the steel and the tempo also in that are strong, and I have very little blaze. So that makes me one of the blend types. And Yeshe is also a blend. She's a blend of the blaze and the dynamo as well.
And we have a couple of other shares. Jan is a dynamo as well. And Leslie's a tempo. And Leslie mentioned that she sometimes wanted to choose more than one answer. And that's pretty common. This is not a hugely extensive test, but it's miraculously accurate. And then Lisa is also a dynamo. We have a lot of creative people in here. Rebecca's a blaze. Welcome to my side, sister. So yeah, this is great. Beautiful.
So we encourage you to, look at you'll receive a report by email that gives you more detail about your strengths and limitations with your profile. And it also gives you examples of entrepreneurs that have your same profile as you. Unfortunately, they're not nurses, so you may or may not relate to them. They're in conventional business, but still, it's a place to start. And we have both found that knowing our entrepreneurial energy profile really serves us. For one thing, we can stop feeling bad about that we're not good at everything. We can start focusing more on the areas that we're strong and building those into our business role. And that will bring us more fulfillment. It will bring us more focus and fulfillment. It also helps us to understand ourselves and trust ourselves more, which is super important in doing something like being an entrepreneur. Because we know we can use this as sort of a compass, and it can help us know what's right for us and what's not right for us. And that helps us show up in our business more powerfully. Knowing our entrepreneurial energy also serves our audience, okay? Because they get our best energy, because that's what we're leaning into, focusing on. And we're being able to be authentic at a deeper level, and people can feel that. So there's another layer of trust that happens. Also, as we are our authentic selves, others feel that and feel safe to be more authentic too, which is a big thing. And also people tend to know what to expect because we're more predictable. We're staying sort of in our energy groove. And I just want to share a little quick example of this in my business. So I'm this combination of the creative with the details and the grounded. And Yeshe is a combination of creative with the blaze and the grounded. And so we have energy on that's complementary, as long as we choose to recognize it that way. Okay. It helps us to not be in conflict just because we see things from two different sides of the room, sort of, we're standing in two different places. So of course we're going to see a different side. And it's been so beautiful to work together and have that awareness of how we each see part of the picture. And so to see the whole picture, we listen to each other. And we also say, well, this is more in your wheelhouse. Do you want to do it? And usually we say, oh yeah, that'd be great. And vice versa. So it's, do you want to comment on that, Yeshe?
I would love to. I agree fully with what you're saying. It creates a sense of harmony that I've not experienced in other collaborative environments. It's something that, like you said, when one sees one and the other sees another, and we know that it's because those are our strengths, it really gives us permission to be part of the wholeness instead of, right? Instead of thinking, oh, well, this is my job and that's your job. It's not. It's we're just being part of the wholeness, and it's such a it's so in line with Liberated Nurses' values because it's such a holistic way to operate, and holistic, expression is the backbone of the Liberated Nurses' values. So it's a wonderful way to work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and I was going to share also that Janet also put in there one thing that she can strengthen is her systems knowledge and creating systems. And thank you, Janet, for sharing that, because I think it's awesome that we can see just by hearing this information and seeing what our profile is, how we can fill things for our business, by knowing, okay, this isn't a strength of mine, so that's something that I'm going to delegate at some point. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Excuse me. And even if we have to do everything ourselves at the beginning, it still helps us to know, okay, the first person I'm going to get to help me, even part-time, is that has these skills that are different and this point of view that's different than mine. And we just can hold that space for ourselves and feel supported by knowing this, that for there to be a wholeness, it takes a whole, it takes people with complementary energies. Okay, I've already said a little bit about trust. I just want to pause a moment to let you know that the more you trust, that we trust ourselves, the more others will trust us. And the more we'll have flow in our business. That's our personal flow, and also the flow of cash flow, energy flow, having less resistance and friction in the business, in all parts of the business. Okay, so let's shift then a little bit to skill set. Yeshe, are there any questions that relate to energy that you want to bring in from the chat before we shift over? Or comments?
It looks like we covered everything. And yeah, I'll just ask everyone to just have a deep breath.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Sort of refresh your brain for a moment there. Like awesome. And we'll go on to the next piece.
Oh. Would you like to take it from here, Yeshe?
Sure thing. So thank you for the thumbs up. So with skill set, Sharon talked about how with mindset, it's 70 to 80% of our business success, right? And believe it or not, our skill set is 20 to 30%. It doesn't mean it's 20 to 30% importance in terms of importance. It just means that that's how much you're going to rely on that. They're both 100% important. Just wanted to clarify that. So your skill set includes being able to have that energy of discernment, or that attitude of discernment, and knowing when you're doing the right actions in the right order and at the right time, just like we do in our nursing careers as well. So when you think about working as a nurse, would you do a skilled nursing procedure without learning the essential steps first? Raise your hand if you would. I'm sure I'm not going to get any hands, right? Okay. Just wanted to double check. Because if so, that's a whole other set of skills that we need to bring you back to. But I'm glad no one raised their hand. So perfect. So just the same way that that you would have those steps, having no step-by-step process to guide you through the developmental stages of your business results, it results in guessing, and you lose time, you lose money, you lose hope, you lose confidence, and you don't get to do the thing that you love to do. And it's truly a recipe for disaster and failure. So when you skip those steps, it leads to a higher probability of that failure. So it's really important to know your business's developmental stage. So just like people, our businesses do have a developmental stage, and each stage is unique and has different qualities. Just like the different stages of our human development, our business has different stages of that have their own needs or requirements, I would say, before we can allow our business to develop into the next stage. So here's the first 4 stages that the liberated nurse likes to share and that we're built on. And not only that, but the holistic business development system that we rely on relies heavily on these 4 stages. So if you take a look at stage 0, we'll look at them more closely in just a moment here, but I just want you to see stage 0 is preparing, and it starts with you. Stage 1 is proving, and it's designing. So this is where you prove your idea for your business and make sure that there's an audience for it and that they'll pay for it. And then stage 2, did I say stage 2? I meant stage 1. And then stage 2 is grow or drive. And this is where you get to start networking. You're enjoying a lot more flow in your business, and you're going to set yourself up to expand again. And then stage 3 is scaling, and you'll be doing a lot more production versus the connection that you do at the beginning, at the 3 stages before that. So I would say on this scale, the first 3 stages are heavy connection, especially with 0 and 1. And then stage 3 and a little bit in stage 2, it's a lot more production. And that's like, websites and books and, et cetera, like that. So let's talk a little bit about each of the stages. So in stage 0, your milestone, and we have this set up for you in the system, in the holistic nurses business system that we rely on in Liberated Nurse. And so stage 0, the milestones are knowing your reasons and your motivations. And you can see here these 5. I'm going to not read them exactly, but you can take a look at them. But knowing your reasons and motivations, making sure that you're clear about your finances, what you need to make, and if you want to replace your income with your business idea, that's important to know what those numbers are, especially. It's important anyway. And then identify how much you can put into your business in terms of time and money. What can you invest into your business? And how much do you want to earn in the next 12 months? And then understanding your strengths and weaknesses. And we've talked about this just a little bit so far. This is so important. It really helps you figure out where you are in that place of wholeness where you serve best. And like Sharon said, you may be serving everything at the beginning, but you'll at least know where to go first in terms of getting some help. And also stage 0 relies heavily on making sure that you have self-care in place. This is so vital, especially if you're just starting out and you're just starting your business. We can talk more about that later. And then in stage 1, this is where you're learning about your audience. This is the prove stage, remember? So you're learning about your audience. You're making sure that what they want is a match for how you love to serve. And without making that match, your business growth won't be sustainable. So you may have seen some entrepreneurs like pop onto the scene and, they're wildly popular for a while, and then it's like they disappear. My theory, and I don't know if this is proven, but my theory is that it's because they're using a model that's not sustainable. So we want to make sure that your model is sustainable, and that's what the Prove It milestones are all about. And I just want to highlight that it's so important that we employ our empathy. A lot of times in the nursing field, in my experience in the nursing field, I became a nurse because I wanted to care for people and help people learn how to care for themselves. And I'm sure that that's similar to why you became a nurse too. And I found that there was so much paperwork that I wasn't really allowed to do that connection, to have that connection and that care that I wanted to have. So using your empathy is actually a bonus when you're a nurse entrepreneur. And just wanted to point that out as one of the milestones in stage 1. And then in stage 2, this is where you're focused more on expanding again, and you're going to choose a micro niche and grow your followers, your community. You're going to have contact with your prospects. You'll be supporting them with your materials. You'll have clients and fans through respectful, ethical marketing and sales. And that's another big important quality, value rather, for Liberated Nurse, is that ethical and respectful marketing and sales. Because again, when we don't do it that way, that comes from our connection, from our heart, it isn't sustainable, So that's not only because it's kinder for you and kinder for your clients, but also because it isn't sustainable for your business. And so there's some other milestones there as well. And there's some financial milestones that we have on the bottom there in case you're seeing those. And just to let you know, those are good if you're, for example, like a Steel or maybe even a Tempo. Those are probably a really good way for you to kind of measure where you are. If you're not those profiles, it's okay if that doesn't resonate with you. This is just one of the guidelines that you can use to know what stage your business is ready to grow into. And then in stage 3, like we said, this is more the scaling stage. And this is where you've grown to having, at least 100 customers, for example, and you sure your customer pathways are predictable and replicable so that it could eventually run without you. And this is where you start to look at how that can happen in your business. So this is a place also where you'll collaborate with market leaders to extend your business's visibility and trust and flow. So again, a lot more production in that way. I'd love to hear what you'd like to add, Sharon.
Yeah, thank you. I would just like to add, when you're listening to ads or promotions for business and marketing, education, or courses, some of them sound really great. Of course, they all sound really great, but the ones that talk about scaling, will help you scale and all this kind of thing. This is what you've got to have to scale. As soon as you hear the word scale, ask yourself, am I in the end of stage 2, ready to go into stage 3? Or maybe, am I in early stage 3? Because if you're not at those places, then it's going to be a bad move to buy some, invest in those courses. You won't, because you're not ready yet. And it'd be like giving your car keys to your 5-year-old. He's not ready yet. No matter, he's a great kid and all that, but he's not ready. And so I just want to give you that tip, because Yeshe and I have both made that mistake, spent a bunch of money and then not gotten results. And once, we really drilled into it, it was because we didn't pick up on that scaling word, and we didn't know that it didn't fit into the current business stage that we're in. I'd also like to just quickly say that even though I've been in stage 3 with a previous business, when I started a new business from scratch, I still start in stage 1 for that business. So if this is not your first rodeo and you're just starting something new, keep that in mind. Now you can go through the stages more quickly on the second or third time. Then you'll take more time the first time through, but it still applies. These stages still apply.
Okay. Really true. That's, I thank you for adding that. You're reminding me to just bring back in how, in hopes to inspire or inform, my experience around, if I had had this system way back when, I could have shaved 7 to 10 years off of my journey of making very little money in my business, or making sporadic money, that feast or famine experience. I experienced that for quite a while in my business because I didn't have a system like this. And it really makes a difference. And even though I had been in business I'd started my entrepreneurial journey in 1998. And even though I'd been doing business since all that time, I still started in stage 0, because the system was new. And then I went quickly into stage 1, because I had a lot of that established already, but I still went through the stages, is my point.
Mm-hmm. I also want to say that there's very there are very few opportunities to get education or mentoring for stage 1.
Yes.
The reason for that is people won't spend a lot of money and shouldn't spend a lot of money when they're in stage 1. They're more likely to have money and spend it when they're in late stage 2 or in stage 3. So most programs are geared for that group. So if you're in stage 0 or 1, I just really strongly recommend to look for education that's designed to help you at your stage. I think it's super important.
It really is. It really is. You can really confuse yourself and confuse your audience if you're not settled into which business stage you're actually in. And again, that leads to not being able to serve the people that you love to serve.
Yeah.
And we did have a question pop up real quick here.
Okay.
So how is your approach method coaching program different from the successful nurse coaches? I think we'll probably answer that in a little bit, right? I mean, we'll give people an idea of that.
Yeah. We can wait till we talk about our program and include that.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So a reflection point. After identifying your business stage, according to the 4 stages that we've been discussing, which of the milestones would you like to work on first? Which milestone would you like on first? And how could you do that? We'd love for you to put that in the chat. And yeah, give us your best guess in this moment. And I'll just start while you're reflecting on that. I'll say a little bit about the dangers of missing milestones. So like we just mentioned, one of the dangers of missing milestones is a confused audience doesn't buy. They don't. And I can tell you that firsthand. And I can also tell you that as a consumer, you know, I purchase programs too. And I don't buy something if I'm not clear on what's going on, no matter how much I love the person who's making the offer. If I don't understand what I'm getting, I'm going to hesitate and probably say no. And then also you don't have the momentum and you don't have the momentum and you don't have the solidity per stage. So then you have to backtrack to catch up. And again, I had to do that when I first encountered this beautiful system. And it was disheartening because I found myself becoming angry about how much time and money I hate saying this word but it's true. I had wasted. So, and I like to turn everything into a lesson, but in the end, it's still time and money that I didn't have to spend, right? So you'll spend so much more time striving than thriving. You'll believe that we have a belief that we have to push past our limits. There's the depression spiral that is really real if you're not in the right business stage. And this is, I think, they talk about how in the first 3 to 5 years, most businesses, I think it's 50% of businesses fail. And then, or maybe in the first 3 years, it's more. And then the first 3 to 5, like if you make it beyond 3 years and it's 3 to 5, it's a little bit less. But in those first few years of business, so many businesses fail. And I really believe that it has to do with not being in the right business stage. And again, all of this amounts to not being able to serve the people that you're called to serve. And isn't that the whole reason why, a big reason anyway, why we want to be in business? So here's that map again. And did you want to share with us, Sharon, what people had put in more stages? Oh, your microphone's on mute, I think.
You're right. Okay. So yeah, we have some stage 0s and stage 1s here. And we have a really good question that I think we should go ahead and answer. Rebecca says, if we're in the midst of trying to find a niche to serve, shouldn't we just be getting out there and coaching to help us find the ideal client and niche? Should we be crafting our offer as best we can for what serves us, not knowing that it might change in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll comment on that. So that's what I was doing before. And to a degree, you're right. It is important to take action. The thing is if we don't take systematized action, then we can be spending so much energy not really knowing who to test with, what kind of audience to test with. So we have to have some kind of an idea, generalized idea to start with. And there is, again, a systemized way to do that and how to know where you want to focus your floodlight. And then that floodlight through experience can become a spotlight in exactly the way that you're talking about. And the thing is we want to evaluate what we've done in the floodlight so that we can narrow down to the spotlight in a way that's effective, that we're really serving our people and that they're getting good results with us and that we're doing the work that we love. As you can see, that's my most important thing, is doing the work that we love. Because really, when we're doing the work that we love, the people who are receiving our work are receiving the very best that they could receive.
Yeah, great. I don't think I can add anything to that.
I was just going to ask you that. Okay.
Except that Rebecca did add something. She says, systematic plan versus messy action, ?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do have a bias on which one we prefer.
Right, exactly. And
although sometimes it's messy no matter if we have a system, but because creativity comes from mess a lot of times and chaos. That's all good, but yeah, we do tend to like to know how to pull out the treasures from that chaos.
Yeah,
and that's what we teach.
Exactly. And it really serves, again, both you and your audience in beautiful ways. Really good. Those are great questions. And I love that people are in the stage 0 to 1. That's a beautiful place to be as far as I'm concerned. And I think that that's a great place to really establish your sustainability for your business and for yourself. So we talked a little bit about connection versus production before, and we just wanted to point something out about that in this slide here. So in stage 1, again, this is your stage where you're most heavily relying on connection, and the actions that you want to do here are really intimacy based, and intimacy meaning you want more one-on-one programs, right? So you're going to do coaching or consulting. You might design a VIP day, or you might have done for you services to where you're, working with your client to accomplish their goals. So this place is one of the systematic ways that you can, what Rebecca was just speaking into, that you can sort of be in that floodlight place, right? When you're doing one-on-one, you're learning with each client as you're serving them. So this is a wonderful way for you to understand what niche you really love, and et cetera, like that. And also when you're doing one-on-one, just speaking into the financial piece briefly, you do charge more per client. And so you're going to establish your financial base a little bit more quickly than if you were to, say, start on the other end on stage 3 with trying to sell books or trying to sell digital product when you don't have much of an audience, or if your audience isn't clear. So I hope that this can help you see why it's so important to not skip any of these stages, right? And to do that systematic way where there may be mess involved, but at least it's systemized mess, right?
Yeah. There's a system to the madness.
Yes.
I want to point out here too that there's nothing that says you have to ever go to stage 3. That's completely a choice. Some of us don't care about being in that stage and doing those things. We want to have it's so you can totally have a solid, sustainable business just using the products and services that are listed here in the stage 1 and stage 2 column.
Yeah, very true. Mm. So knowing your business stage serves you because of these reasons and the reasons that we've spoken to before. You'll have a clear roadmap, and that's your systematic method. And you'll know what actions are right for you now and what you should wait until later. I want to point out too, one of the common misconceptions is thinking that you have to have a website first. You don't. In fact, it's more of a distraction for you to have a website first than it is for you not just for you to intentionally start serving the people that you believe you'd love to serve. Um, and then also another point is you can prevent a lot of wasted time, money, and work and frustration that we mentioned before. So how knowing your stage can, oops, sorry, I was thinking, sorry, lost my thought.
You know, you've had a big string of talking here. Would you like a short break?
Sure, take it away.
Okay. So this is the second time we've given this webinar, and we're still, of course, learning about how we want to give it. So yeah, we're experimenting all the way. So I wanted to share with you that we believe that nurses and successful marketing can be in a beautiful alignment. And the way we do that in New Directions for Nurses and our Liberated Nurse Entrepreneur program is that we practice trauma-informed marketing. That means we have that education about how pervasive trauma is in our culture. We do our best to create safe space in everything we do and to really respect the whole person. We do that through being transparent, and we also do it by asking people's permission and moving forward with using informed consent in our sales process, in our marketing process, and in our teaching process. We also place value on listening to all the people involved and to telling the truth. And part of that truth is always we're listening for, is our offer, what we have to offer, really a fit for both us and the customer? Like, is the customer really ready for what we're offering? Are they going to have enough time and energy to really use it, to make it a good return on their investment? Is it a fit for us? Like, will we be fulfilled by serving this person, or will we be frustrated? You know, on the other hand, we'll be frustrated and wish we'd never taken their money, you know, and that might sound funny, but when you get in business, you'll find that you will have people like that. And unlike other types of nursing roles where we just have to serve everybody, no matter what, whoever shows up, in our business, we really don't have to do that. So there's nuance to that. And then we aim to lead any kind of time that we're leading someone through our marketing or sales process. We're doing it from a caring and conscience-led place, because our goal is that it's a win-win for our customer and ourselves, whether they say yes or no. That our goal is that we know we've given them the information and help them sort through whether it's right for them. And if it's not a win-win, then it's not a sale, and that's fine. We want it to be right. We want to be in right relationship with ourselves and with everyone we're talking to. So that's what we teach, model, and believe in. And as we go into now sharing with you our offer, we just want you to know that's the place we're coming from. We want you to have all the sovereignty, you know, that you truly have in making a decision that's good for you. Yeshe, would you like to take back up again?
Sure. So the Liberated Nurse Business Incubator Program which I love so much, is is 1 year of education and support to start your business with confidence. And that confidence, again, in part comes from understanding what stage of business that you're in and what your energy profile is. Those are two really big tools that help you have that confidence. And we use them in the Liberated Nurses Business Incubator program. So it also shows you how to feel clear and confident in your niche. So that question that came up earlier about the niche, that absolutely is a big part of what we help you do. And that's part of stage 1. So that's a big piece that you'll learn here. You'll structure your business so that you're safe with your license. So for those who are keeping their nursing license, I personally didn't keep my nursing license, and that's okay. It's just because that's how I'm choosing to serve differently. But for those of you who are, which most of you will, then we teach you how to do that safely, right? And how to market and sell your program consistently. This is really huge. A lot of entrepreneurs understand how to market and sell their thing like maybe one time, and then maybe the market changes, or maybe your offer slightly changes, or maybe you discover that your audience is just slightly different and you're not sure how to sell it then you're kind of lost. But we teach you how this is a living, experience. So it does shift and change as you shift and change, or as your environment shifts and changes. And you'll absolutely enjoy a viable income and time with your loved ones. This is something that I think a lot of programs promise, but again, they promise it from that stage 2 perspective, that most business, or stage 3 rather, perspective that most businesses are not ready for, especially, when we're starting out new. What you'll receive is one of my favorite things, which is support. And you'll receive that support from a community of nurse peers and coaches who are absolutely cheering for you 1,000%. And your holistic business development insights, tools, and skills are provided. You'll experience those, and you'll have expert guidance to create a sustainable business plan like we've been talking about. Really want this to be sustainable for you. We want you to succeed. And here's a couple of examples of some success stories that you might want to take a look at there.
Yeah, like we can just pause for a moment. They can read those.
Yeah. And I'll just ask briefly if you want to raise your hand in the success stories that you're reading, the examples that you're reading, or in anything that we've talked about so far. Are you seeing yourself in your story in this? Is there a part that you're seeing yourself in?
I can share that Jan posted a little earlier, and that something that fits into this question that you asked. She says she went from stage 0 after doing nurse coaching training, and then she went to stage 2 trying to grow. She was trying to be in stage 2, take those actions at that place, but she now realizes she missed stage 1 and needs that.
You know what? It really warms my heart that you have that awareness now. That just having that awareness, I think, will make such a big difference in growing your business. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
And Shauna says, it's helpful to put where I am into the context of stages of business growth.
Yeah. I can relate, Shauna. Thank you for sharing that too. And I don't know if this is true for you, but my creative mind thinks more spherically and like sort of in spirals and circles. But having something that's linear, Sharon and I often joke about this, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but having something that's linear really helps me feel the ground underneath me, because it's not something that I naturally do for myself. So having someone else or a system provide that for me is like, it's everything. So Sharon talked about how she and I collaborate well together. And one of the things that we say is that, you know, she's like the banks of the river, which you need, right? And I'm like the water rushing through, which you also need.
Yeah.
So you get a full river experience with us.
Yeah. But safe river, you know, you don't
A
want
safe
flood.
river.
Right.
Yeah,
Keep it in the banks, right?
exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Thank you for sharing those. So here's what I'll call the doodads, the doodads of what you get, like the tangible things of what you get, which is you get audio, video, and PDF lessons, and you really can go at your pace. I think we answer this later, but we recommend that you go at a certain pace, but you can go faster or slower, you know, whatever is according to your personal needs. You do have 60 CE contact hours that are accepted for RN licenses in all 50 states, and AHNCC for certification and recertification as a holistic nurse and nurse coach. This is something that I think is so beautiful and juicy. My understanding is that while there are other programs that will teach you some of the things that we're teaching, this is the only one where you have holistic nurse certification specifically. So I love that unique piece. And maybe that serves to answer in part what's different about this program from the question that was asked earlier. So the 4 courses that are included in the Nurses Business Incubator really build on each other. You start, like we've been mentioning, that you identify your business idea, then you verify the value of your solution, and then you launch your business. And again, sustainably, we want that to be, you know, upfront all the time. And then you can get more clients with less effort. Less effort than you would have without this, less effort than potentially your peers, less effort than what I've experienced in the past, and what Sharon mentioned having experienced in the past. And this is a program that, as you can probably guess, is designed by nurse entrepreneurs for nurse entrepreneurs like you. So it's very unique in that way. More of the tangible things that you'll receive is 12 private one-on-one business coaching sessions that are 30 minutes each. And these are so valuable. I've been able to, Sharon and I both have been able to help clients, you know, who are getting lost in the material because there's like a mindset issue, or because there's something that's so totally new to them, they are not really getting it. You know, this is such a valuable piece to have in a program. It's not just here's the material and you're on your own, which, you know, those types of courses are also valuable when it's right, when it's the right fit for you. But starting in your business, I feel like you need both. And so here it is, you have both. You have 12 monthly group coaching sessions, which is also super juicy. And those group coaching sessions are recorded, so you can go back and look at them too. And you have your full entrepreneur energy assessment and report. Remember how Sharon was talking about the one that you did today to find out whether you were Dynamo, Steel, or Tempo, or Ablaze. There is a full one that shows 8 different points, and it shows your combinations of those 8 points and what's primary to you. And I will tell you, for my own personal experience, that has been the thing that has, I think, served me the most, that report, in terms of understanding who I am as an entrepreneur. Not only who I am as an entrepreneur, but it has helped me understand who I am in other relationships as well, because entrepreneurialism is relationship based, right? At least for good entrepreneurs, in my personal opinion. And then you'll also have the Nurse Entrepreneur Starter Kit course, which is so good. It's everything you need to prepare to start your business journey. And I would say that stage 0 stuff, all of that is in the the starter kit, Nurse Entrepreneur Starter Kit course. So you'll get all the things, and you do have lifetime access, which is, I don't know that I have words for that one.
Yeah, and that's why we didn't put prices on these last 3, because, you know, sometimes people will say a sign of value that, to me, those are completely arbitrary. So we just left it blank. But lifetime access to all the learning materials, even when we update them, even when we add more, when we put the information on what to do with the latest thing that comes out, you know, you'll have that access going forward forever to refer to.
Yeah. And again, remember how we talked about going from Like say you're in stage 2 already, but you have a new product, then you want to go back, and do stage 1 again for your new product, and you'll have access to that. You won't ever have to wonder where to go or what to do. You'll just have it. You do have your personal online student portal where all of that learning material is. And what I love about this personally too is all of your stuff stays in one place. And, I'm not exactly the queen of organization, but my business can be organized because I have that portal, which is really nice. So you'll also have a personal accountability buddy for those who love to have live support more often. This is really, really helpful. You can bounce ideas off of each other when you're looking at your niche, when you're looking at how you want to structure your business, all of those things. Really, really helpful to have that peer support. It's people like you who get you, right? So you also have included, and it still blows my mind that all this stuff is included and that there's no extra charges, a private online community where you can connect and brainstorm across all of our student community. And the coaches are in that community as well. And you'll get input on your challenges, and we love to celebrate your success. So we'll have that as part of what happens in the group as well. So we do want to just briefly go over some of the values. And again, Sharon mentioned that some things don't have prices because they're priceless. But the other ones, the 4 holistic nursing CNE courses that make up the incubator program are 60 CEs, and that's an $1,800 value. And then your private business, one-on-one business coaching sessions is also an $1,800 value. And you have 12 of those. And then your 12 monthly group coaching sessions is a $1,200 value. Then your Nurse Entrepreneur Starter Kit course, and again, that's where all the stage 0 stuff is, that's really important to start with, is a $300 value. And basically, by the way, these are prices that if we were to sell these piecemeal, that's what the value would be. And then the Entrepreneur Energy Profile Assessment and Report, that full report that you'll get about your energy profile, that's a $97 value.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the actual price that you have to
that is the
anybody
actual
else. If you go to the website to get it, that's not, that's because that's another company that we partner with, and that's the price they charge.
Yeah, so we're not profiting on that. We just want you to have it because it's so juicy. And the lifetime access to all the content, personalized student portal that we just talked about, private online community, and personal accountability buddy, all of that is included. So I'm not going to be cheesy and say, wait, there's more, but there is more. You also get some really good bonuses that I've not personally seen in other nurse business building programs. Not that I've researched them all, but I've seen a few. So you have a priority mentor, you have priority mentoring in a program that we have membership that is limited. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. Liberated Nurse Marketing Lab. And in that marketing lab, we're going to meet up to 4 times a month, and you're going to have an opportunity to optimize your marketing message. So this speaks into what Sharon was talking about, and what we both were talking about in terms of how sometimes the market changes and sometimes your offer changes, or sometimes you just want to get really laser focused with your audience so that you can really serve them in a deeper way. So this lab is your opportunity to do that. And, when you're clear on your marketing and you have that sustainable flow of being able to market well, you do gain confidence because you can start to trust even more in yourself, right? It just sort of feeds that cycle of self-trust. And when you're feeding that cycle of self-trust, like Sharon mentioned before, you're also allowing your audience to join you in that cycle of self-trust, and they trust you too.
So I'd like to comment on this, Yeshe, and give you also a break. Thank you for doing all this talking.
My pleasure.
So we meet 4 times a month, 2 Saturdays and 2 Tuesday evenings a month. And you're welcome to come to as many of those as you like. And you can just listen to other people getting feedback on their marketing, or you can get feedback on yours. and you can bring anything, to that lab that is marketing related, your business card, your elevator speech, your talk you're going to do at a community center, anything will help you. I will be there and give you my feedback and input and guide you on things that to test, because as I, remember, marketing and business are a series of experiments. So this guidance will help you with your experiments. And then I'll continue on and say that the second bonus is 1 hour CE course on video that Yeshe and I recorded this year called Insecure to Empower. And it's really a beautiful course where you get 3 holistic tools to help you exercise your power, stay in the present in stressful moments, and embody safety with physical anchors and cues. So with the everything that's in the course, including these 2 bonuses, the value comes up to $5,344. And your investment, what we actually ask for the tuition, is $2,497. And you can choose either the pay in full or the 12 monthly payments. Yeshe, do you want to continue?
Absolutely. So, oops, sorry, I went a slide ahead on my notes. So your investment is $24.97, which, as you can see, compared to the value, is a significant savings. And, like Sharon mentioned, it's difficult to spend a ton of money when you're just starting out. So we would like you to make the investment that's appropriate. And my heart says that this pricing absolutely reflects what's appropriate for starting out your business. There are lots of systems that can cost, starting at 10,000 and, going up to 100,000. And this is, in our opinion, what you need to start in a sustainable way that allows you to start to grow. I apologize. I actually am starting to feel emotional. This is really interesting. I think I'm feeling, I think
you
I'm
really
feeling
care about this.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I really do. It's important to me that that people not start out the way I started out, with so much stress and with putting so much of my time and money into these inappropriate programs for where I was in my business. And it's so maddening that nobody told me. A lot of people are so focused on making their business grow by getting your money, that they're not focused on how to meet you where you are, like in all the way around. And this program really does that. So that's my personal emotional 2 cents about that.
Yeah.
And did you want to comment? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I thank you for your sharing your emotion, transparent, and being present with yourself and the people that are here. And I just want to offer you a little space for yourself, and I'll carry on here with this. And also to bring awareness to that we're getting close to the end of our 90 minutes. And I want to coach people. So, if people want that. We have a question about the length of the program, and it's 12 months. And then the other part of that question is, what does the support look like after it's complete, after the program's complete? We have an opportunity for ongoing support on a monthly subscription basis. And that's there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can focus just on marketing if that's the only support you need going on forward, or you can continue to stay and get coaching if you're not done with stage 1. Most people can be done with stage 1 by that time, but if you're not, you can continue to get coaching to help you get through the prove stage and ready for the, established in the stage 2. Let me just finish out these a little bit more. I'm going to go past some of the words. You're going to get a handout that I'll send to you tomorrow with the recording and the handout that'll have all the key points in the handout. And so this is our recap. Let's see. You just know that in the incubator program, you get all the help you need with the mindset and your point of view. And that includes handling your self-sabotaging thoughts. And we all have those. That's actually like one of the very first lessons, is how to start working with those. And all the tools and opportunities to practice your skills. Okay, all of that is included. And so that you will feel like you know what you're doing, you have the support to experiment safely, stay in your license, and build the skills you need to thrive. There's a few more examples of success. Let me check the chat here. I see a couple more.
Yeah.
So Shauna says, I can relate with your sharing, Yeshe. I've been trying to figure this out for more than 6 years now. Yeah. And Leslie says, noticing my own anxiety about not knowing how to focus because I have so many passions, how to really find my niche. Yeah. We'll help you with that. We also have a premise. We have several core premises in our program. One of them is that we encourage people to date a niche for a while, just date it before you marry it. And we have ways for you to do that and sort of sort out how did that feel with that niche and so on, help you get to one that you want to stay with. Rebecca says, do you dive into the mindset issues in the coaching? Yes, we do. Yeah.
That's my personal specialty.
Yes. It is not mine. So, and we have other coaches in addition to Yeshe and I as well.
Yeah.
The recorded program materials do give you information about mindset, but that's not like being in conversation about mindset.
Yeah.
And it gives you information about the systems and the structure, but that's not like being in conversation with it. So we feel it's super important that you have both. So in addition to the ways you get your conversation around what you're doing and feeling, there's the one-on-one coaching every month. There's the monthly group coaching. And we actually have 2 opportunities for monthly group coaching, so you can attend twice if you like. And then there's the online support group. So we feel like we offer an abundance of support that's conversational and personal, and because it's so important. I think we give more than any other program out there in terms of mindset coaching and support and guidance,
Coupled with such an incredibly structured course of materials, that combination is,
they're both very robust and then complementary with the structure and the support.
Yeah.
Okay. So there again is the URL for the sales page, and I put it in the chat. And so here's some frequently asked questions. We recommend you budget about 3 or 4 hours a week for this program, but you can go faster or slower.
I'm sorry, may I interrupt momentarily? While Sharon's going over the questions, if you want to raise your hand if you'd like laser coaching, that would be great. So just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll make a note of that.
Okay, great. Do you have to complete the program before making money? No, please don't. Wait, we'll show you how to price it, how to put together your offer for your services, how we recommend, how to price. And of course, you always can do what you want to do with those things, but we give you our best information from our experience and education on it. How long does it take to build a stable, thriving business? That's going to vary according to each person, but on an average, I would say 9 to 18 months to complete stages 0 and 1. If you have guidance, can be years, many years if you don't have the guidance. And another couple of 2 to 4 years to complete stage 2. And then what if I have specific questions? So about, is this really right for me? So you can talk to Yeshe about this if you're not sure if this is right for you. And I'm going to put her link in the chat. And it's her online calendar so that you can just schedule at your convenience. There it is. Okay, so it looks like we have a couple people that would like to have some coaching, right?
Some coaching. And I saw Rebecca first, and then I saw Shanna.
Okay, so how about if we stop sharing the screen so we can see each other better, and I'll be happy to start the coaching. You said who was first, Yeshe?
I saw Rebecca first.
Okay, Rebecca. Let's unmute you. If you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi, Rebecca.
I'm at the park with my boys, so if you hear children screaming, that's why. I apologize.
Okay, we're fine with that. That happens. Okay, so what is your top question or challenge that you'd like to have a little coaching around?
I graduated from Inca last May, and then I am really into non-toxic living, and it can be really confusing for a lot of moms on the internet trying to find, the right information. So that's what I started diving into, is like creating those programs and skipping over like the mindset and all that stuff, like the deep things. So I was like, I don't need to do that. And then created a Facebook, joined the mom groups, the non-toxic mom groups, trying to find clients. And I kept seeing like recurring themes and attitudes, and it's harsh in there. I was like, oh man, this is rough. And I feel like there are moms that need non-judgmental help, I guess. So then I started getting into mindset. If I want to help others on their mindset, I have to start with my mindset. And all this stuff keeps resurfacing, like the inner child and all of these unresolved issues. And like you were talking about the mindsets and the beliefs that you create in your mind. So that's what I'm dealing with currently. Is I feel like I know the steps that I need to take business wise, but personally, mentally, I'm struggling.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I feel compassion for you, definitely. And I'm so glad that you're wise enough to just sort of stop and assess what your situation is and recognize, okay, I have some stuff here that's coming up that's in my way. And that's the first step, of course, to finding your way through. And I really encourage you to get a coach who's skilled in working in that mindset area, because it's so easy to get lost in the weeds in our own stuff and not find our way through. So do you have anybody like that in your life now who can help you with that?
A coach?
Mm-hmm.
No, I started looking into like self-help books. So I've just started doing that journey on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if like the coaching that's included with the program kind of just insinuates part of that as part of the process, like into the coaching, or if that is kind of the coaching's more focused on what happens after you do some of that inner work.
Yeshe, do you want to respond to that part?
Absolutely. Yeah, between the recorded videos and the one-on-one, you absolutely can get exactly the type of support that you're speaking into 100%. As we talked about, I love the mindset piece. And so I do most of those calls and one-on-one calls. And, we can work with whatever is coming up for you, whether it's before you do a business action, in the middle of your business action, after your business action, it doesn't matter. As you're thinking about the business action, if stuff comes up, again, this is, we're trauma informed, and we really do take that seriously. I know that there are some, programs that say, oh, we're trauma informed, and I don't know what that means for them because I don't necessarily see evidence of it all the time, but we do take that to heart. And it's really important that, we understand that many of us have past traumas or even current traumas. And, it's important to allow ourselves to have some space around that so that we can be available to grow our business. Because if we don't handle those pieces, the mindset piece, the safety piece, then we're not going to grow a sustainable, thriving business. We'll be frustrated no matter how good the material is, which is why Sharon was wise enough to have both pieces in this program. So yes, we will absolutely address that with you.
That sounds great. So do you guys, I know sometimes like they'll say you can go on it on your own, but it's going to take you, like what you mentioned, a heck of a lot longer and a lot more frustration and tears to go it alone. But if I am trying to figure it out on my own, do you guys recommend trying to still coach others during the process?
If I understood the question right, which it sounds like you're asking, if you're, I'm going to paraphrase what you said. If you're kind of unstable as you're building your business, should you continue coaching others? There's a yes and a no. So the yes is if you are staying in your lane, which again is part of our program, we teach you how to stay in your lane. If you're staying in your lane and you're coaching people through something that you have successfully moved through and understand the process of step by step, then you can still coach even if your business structure isn't yet stable. The no to that is if your business structure isn't quite stable, there could be a lot of falling through the cracks for your client or for yourself. Even if you're able to teach and coach them through something that you've successfully moved through, that you understand the pieces of. So I think that's the fullest answer that I can give you in all honesty. You want to add to that, Sharon?
I think you covered it.
Okay.
So Rebecca, if you have other questions, really, you're welcome to schedule a meeting with Yeshe and talk it over. Yeah, happy to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Janet, I know you have to go, and Betul has said goodbye. Let's go to Shauna's coaching now.
Perfect.
And you'll need to unmute yourself, Shauna.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't hear me if I don't have the earbuds in, but this is good. Okay. So I'm really excited about this meeting. I saw it pop up this morning and I was just like, oh, I gotta do this. So it was very timely. And yeah, I liked a lot of what I heard, and it feels like what I need for sure. I started thinking seriously about throwing something together and wanting to be of service in a specific way 2017, I think, was when I first started
Mhm.
having conversations about it. So, and just really not being like certain on how to move forward with it. Like my dad's a business owner, but I've never been, a business owner. I tend to be kind of creative, but I am also detail oriented. I've managed to get a board certification in diabetes education, and I'm double board certified as a health coach. And, so now I'm like in this rural location in Tennessee. And there's like this huge need for it, and I'm sitting here going, okay, how do I move forward? Like, and so I'm hearing this like one-on-one approach for the intimacy thing, and I'm going, I don't think that that's going to be appropriate for the situation. I feel like I need to do group classes somehow, and I don't know how I'm going to start doing that. But that seems to be the best way to move forward. And so there's that kind of question, how to go forward with that. And I've reached out to there's a Warren County extension person, the director of the county extension. Actually, I sat down with her for an hour. We might have actually been talking for 2 hours. And there's like a quarterly meeting that happens. I'm going to go to that. That's in August. So I'm starting to make some connections locally. So that's great. But so far I'm seeing the need, but I'm not seeing the receptivity for diabetes education, diabetes prevention, health coaching, these things that I would love to provide. So big question mark. And then so I have like two things kind of going, I have this big question mark, and then at the same time, we're building a house. It's coming up on being finished. And it's kind of like, okay, it's go time. We're going to have a mortgage. Like, it's time. Like, I have to go back to the workplace now, or I need to make the business work. So I'm feeling like more pressure with it now. It's kind of a time sensitive thing. And if I go back into the workplace and I try to do something, with my RN license, which would be great. It would be great if I could do it with diabetes education, but nobody's hiring for that here, So I'm really kind of facing some pressures, and I feel a little bit of high speed wobble. So I don't know. Any thoughts?
Oh boy. Well, thanks for sharing with us your situation. I can see you have a challenge. When you say rural, how far is the nearest city?
So McMinnville is the closest town. That's 20 minutes.
20
Chattanooga, yeah, 20 minutes into town. It's about 20 minutes into town. But see, at the hospital in town, they don't even know what diabetes education is. They think that their nutritionist for the hospital works in the cafeteria. Like, they think that they're down in the kitchens. Like, they don't know. Like, they just don't. It's not even on the radar. Like,
I lived in Arkansas for about 10 years, and it probably was similar.
yeah. My mom's in Arkansas. I was there for a couple of years when I was a kid.
Okay. So how big is that town that's 20 minutes away where the hospital is?
Not big. I think it just requires so much education, and it's like, okay, here's the new person coming in educating us on what we need. So I don't know how good that's gonna go. But there was a primary care doc in town that was like, yeah, we need a diabetes educator, but they're not hiring. So I have to figure out, okay, so am I going to do that as like a private contractor? How do I bill? All of these things. And it's like, okay, well, and if I can figure that out, maybe I'm going to have a bunch of clientele if I go, approach him again, because he was actually very certain about his need, which was the first time I've seen it in this town. The largest town that's nearby is Chattanooga, and that's an hour.
Chattanooga. Okay, that's plenty big. And I didn't hear you say how big this town is. That's 20 minutes.
Oh, I'd have to look it up. It's not big at all. It's a small town.
So is it more than 1,000?
I would say so, yes. Yes.
More than 10,000?
Don't know about that.
Somewhere between 1 and 10.
You know what? Let me Google it really fast. That's probably something I should know.
Well, It's okay. It gives me a rough idea of just for this moment, just to where to start.
Yeah. McMinnville population. Oh, 13,000.
Okay.
13,861. And that was as of 2021. There you go.
Okay. So it's probably a little bigger by now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I think you have the potential. I would, if I was your coach, if we really were working together, we'd go dive deeper into all the nuances of this. But in this, Rebecca says, does town size matter if you're building an online business? Great question. So I'll work that into what I'm sharing with Shauna.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do online at some point, but now I'm not. Like you said something about the website being a distraction, and it absolutely has felt like one. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, putting that on the side for now. My friend Daniel's helping me with it, and he can wait a little longer. Like,
Yeah, no, we don't recommend websites in stage 1. Do it in stage 2.
thank you.
First, it's all about getting clear on your niche, that means the audience you want to help and their problem. That's your niche. And then getting clear on what you have of value to offer them, and verifying that the audience sees the value and that they have the means and a willingness to pay for it. Okay.
Right.
Got to start with that. Otherwise, everything else is a waste of time until you have that. Okay. And then,
that out.
well, we have a process for helping you figure that out.
Okay.
Now, it sounds to me like you have the potential to make this a go, because if you have one physician who's leaning in and saying, yes, this is value, that's a start. And you'll probably be able to find other people like that are hubs. You want to look for the hubs of the people that can reach your audience. And since you're a new person, you weren't born and raised there. They don't know you and your dad and your aunts and all, like happens, that you don't have that credibility. So you'd be linking up with people who do have credibility in the community. And that's what we call a hub. And we would recommend that you work with people locally first to hone your marketing messages, to test you, improve your model.
Yeah.
And then you can very definitely expand to online, serving people online.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we would recommend. Does that help you?
Yeah, I that's very helpful, and it helps me just to kind of talk through it and hone in on that. Oh yeah, there's that one person who really did seem interested. You know what I mean? Because I've been casting such this huge net, that it's easy to become very overwhelmed, especially when we're just in our own head going around and around.
It really is. So, in the incubator, we listen to all that you've got in your head, and then we help you turn your attention to the part that's actually in your best interest to focus on now.
Just gotta start somewhere.
And then when you've done that, we help you with that. Do the same thing with the next step.
The other thing that I had thought of was providing some health education through the community college, but I kind of searched on their website, and they really don't have anything like a department where that would fit. And I was thinking maybe I'll just call them and see if they have any recommendations. Hey, talk to this person if you want to present this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm gonna probably hit a dead end. I haven't called them.
You can do that. You can also really spend a lot of time going after things like that too early, if you do it too early. In our view, it's important to hone in who your audience is and focus your time and energy on those people with a particular problem that you can solve.
Yeah.
And there's very definitely business models that include some group work as part of getting you known in the community.
Yeah.
But that your majority of your income initially in stage 1 and early stage 2 would probably still come from working one-on-one with people. That's where but the groups can help those people find you, the people that, you're only looking for the people that are actually ready to be coached. And as you know, as a coach, not everybody's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So through this program, that do we receive the support to learn how do we bill for this stuff?
How do you bill?
How do we bill for this stuff? For
Yeah.
goodness sakes, like what does this even look like?
We cover all that. And we
Okay.
cover how to be a contractor or a consultant,
Okay.
you know, an independent practitioner at any level of licensure. You don't have to just be a nurse practitioner to have independent practice. It's just that you have to
Yeah.
stay within your scope and standards for your level of license. So we cover all that, and to help you have the language to talk about what you do with the doctor and with the public and anybody else that's interested.
Ask something and then I got sidetracked. Oh yeah, I was thinking for a while, like, you know, in order to do anything with like the certifications I have, am I going to have to go back to school for like my NP you know, post grad certificate, you know, to be able to bill for any of this, or, you know, because as an RN, it's like you can bill for things as a dietitian, but you can't bill for things as a RN diabetes educator. You can if you're a dietitian diabetes educator, but
Yeah.
not as an RN. So
You're a RN, you're not an advanced practice nurse. Okay.
nope.
Okay.
So
So
do I
that's
need to get
fine.
my
As a diet, I mean, in terms of your business, are
Yeah.
getting it certified as a diabetes education
Mhm.
person is probably a good idea for you, but I wouldn't worry
And
about the
certified.
rest. You have that. So yeah, the rest, don't worry about it. We can totally have a business that does diabetes education.
I have
And
an NP
the
number already.
billing, the thing is, billing through insurance is very small income. You don't get a lot. It's
Right.
but it's okay. It can be part of your business where you're getting to serve those people that want to go through their insurance. But there's another whole segment of the population that would be happy to pay privately out of their pocket for really tuned in diabetes education that helps them customize in their lifestyle
Yeah.
what they need to do.
So this brings up so many questions. I know this is only supposed to be laser focused, so I don't.
We need to cut it off here, but we can see if we can narrow it down and complete.
Yeah. Well, and so just the way the conversation's going, my next question becomes, okay, so if I'm going to be working with this local primary care doc, he's an internal doctor, and if I do work for him as a contractor, then I'm just billing him and he bills the insurance then.
There's different ways to go. That's only one out of many ways to do it. Yeah, I mean, that is a way.
Wouldn't
But
want to be.
I would probably suggest some other way. You consider some other ways that might be better for you.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to learning more about it, and this sounds like a fabulous program. And I definitely like just to like hear, oh, there's some support out there. That's amazing. You know, like it's yeah, I feel like it's a life raft. So
yeah, we think it is too. Yeah. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you for coming and sharing yourself like that.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. All right. Well, I guess I've talked everyone else off, so I guess we're
yeah, it's okay. And you'll get the you'll receive, well, I'll either send this recording or the one we do tonight to everybody. It depends which one is the most interesting, probably. So anyway, but you'll receive our handout too, along with the recording of one of these two sessions today. And please do,
okay.
Do you have the link to book a call with Yeshe if you continue, you know, if you have any other questions?
Yeah, I grabbed that, and I also grabbed the page where I can sign up, and I'm thinking I might just sign up and just get started.
Yeah. Yeah. We would love to see you in the program. I feel like there's a lot of support that you could get that feels completely appropriate for where you are.
Yeah, and it feels totally in alignment with the concerns that I've had so far, and just looking for that coaching and support, and and the structure too. Like it just sounds perfect. So
Yay.
yeah, and I was thinking about, I think I spoke with you, Sharon, like years ago before I even moved out to Tennessee. And then I was thinking, it's like every year I've thought about it and I've thought about it. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, well, when are you going to do it? You know,
Yeah,
like,
but are you going to do it? Yeah.
going to do it. Yeah. Make
Good.
it happen. Yeah.
Come on in. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got to get something started. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a beautiful day, Shauna.
Yeah.
I love
I
your
love-
background, by the way. The background.
Yeah,
of
me
your screen.
too.
It's
But
gorgeous.
my white walls that you can't see.
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.